Hey everybody, how you guys doing this evening? My name is Andrew and my wife Rhonda will be here momentarily. We forgot and we left the TV on. So, now there we go. There she comes.
Here I is.
She is. Alright, well, my name is Andrew and this is my beautiful wife,
Rhonda.
And we're 32 Forever. If you guys want to go ahead, grab your dinners. This is going to be a fun topic for this evening that we're going to talk about tonight.
I don't know how fun it's going to be.
I don't know. It might be kind of jovial a little bit.
I guess.
Because if you look at the topic is money matters. And...
Oh, that's my sister. Hey, girl.
Who?
Squat. I mean...
She was watching.
Well, she went out real quick.
We're going to be talking about money matters. And I know some of you, y'all have by all means, anything that we discuss tonight, it may be something that worked for us, but it might not necessarily work for you. But you might have a system or something in place that's working for you and your spouse. So
just tell us about it, because I'd love to know some of the different systems that people use.
Yeah, because we had a conversation over the weekend, and I think it was Saturday. Yeah, Saturday evening. And some of the things that we discussed then, it's stuff that we tried earlier in our marriage, but it didn't necessarily work for us.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't.
Oh,
we talked.
No, we did not try that. You're right, we did not try that.
No, sir.
She said, "No, sir."
Nope. The thing with us was that so it still seemed like it was like it's not like a perfect thing, but when we started dating, we knew what I knew after I think 6 months, 7 months, 8 months. It didn't even take me a year for me to know that you would be my husband. And when I felt like...
Y'all doing the math, we were still in high school.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you was what? 16, 17?
Mm-hmm.
And I was 18. Well, it was before then. But at that point, we had already started putting our money together and deciding on different things that we wanted to do. So I remember when we went and picked out furniture at Kmart.
Lord Jesus,
I think we were 17. I was 17, you were 16, and we decided to go to Kmart and pick out furniture.
That furniture was at a furniture store.
That was at Kmart.
No, it wasn't. It was a furniture store.
It was at Kmart.
If you say so.
Kmart didn't. I mean, they stopped selling furniture the older we got, but it was at Kmart. We went and we put the furniture on layaway, and when our parents found out,
they went in.
I mean, we were still in high school.
Exactly, but see, when we counsel people now, we don't tell couples to do this kind of stuff right off when you're going into a relationship. And one of the things that was said in the conversation that we were having Saturday was that when you're dating and you're with your significant other, that before you become one, your money you should be maintaining your own household. Your money should be separated. Yes. Her money, money, his money, and then whatever you do in the middle with the money. So we that was a conversation that we had. So it was funny because like I said, we when it applied to us early in our relationship,
and we couldn't understand because we felt like we knew that we were going to be married, but my mama used to always say there's no such thing as a promised bed. And what she meant by that is, okay, you might think you're going to get married today, but somebody's mind will change tomorrow.
Right.
So ain't no sense in putting a horse before the carriage because you just never know what's going to end up happening. So in our situation, we did kind of put the horse before the carriage, and we did start putting our money together. Well, not really putting it together. He had his own account. I had my own account. But when it came that he needed something or I needed something, we always was there with, it's like it wasn't even a question. It's like, you need this, okay, you got it. If I needed it, then he gave it to me. It just didn't matter because we had already considered ourselves a couple. But that did not happen in that first year that we were together. I think we was on year number 2 when we started actually like looking for furniture and trying to
but there again, we were still in high school though.
We were still in high school, which is way too young to be even thinking about at the age that we were, because I think I was a senior. I mean, a senior and you was a junior.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when we started doing stuff like that, which is like, you just don't. But it did also prepare our minds set for what we had to do in the future. We already knew that when we came together as a married couple, that we was going to come together as one. We did not have that question in the back of our mind as how the money would be split. We knew that we would do everything together. That's just what we wanted to do.
Right.
And some couples don't feel that same way. Some couples still been married for like 15 years and they still have his money, her money, and then they have a joint money, house money.
Yeah.
And that might work for them, but
yeah, I mean, if that works for you guys,
that's great.
That's awesome. If you guys can leave comments to let us know, how do you handle your finances between you and your spouse, in your house,
and then if you're not married,
how you handling your finances?
To know.
Yeah, because like I say, it was a conversation that we were in Saturday that kind of spurred this on. But
Ashley, my client this morning, asked me about it. She said, "Could you talk about money?"
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. She asked, "Could you talk about money?" She asked, "Could you talk about communication?" And communicating is very important when you're dealing with your money too. So I said, we'll probably hit on communication also, but we talk about communication all the time because that's something that you must do.
Yes. Speaking of communication, when it comes to money. I know you might have one person in the household that's not a big free spender, but the other person is a free big spender.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have the person that's the free big spender handling all of the finances, it can become kind of tense in a household. And it can lead to some
major issues,
very major issues, because how you women said, without finance there ain't no romance.
Yeah. Gotta have that finance, that romance.
But it's true though. If you think about it, if your finances are jacked up, the romance is going to be jacked up.
And the thing about it is that person is not the big spender. Is always wondering where the next money is going to come from to pay the bills and to make sure that everything's been taken care of. When the person that just likes to spend money all the time, they don't really think about that. They be like, "Oh, we gonna get it. We both working, so it's gonna happen. We gonna pay the bills." But what about that day when somebody might not have a job? Then at that point, you want to make sure that you have some money saved up.
Right.
It's very important that you have a savings.
That's very important. And that's another goal that a lot of people don't look forward. They don't work towards anymore, is a savings. There's so many different ways you can save your money these days.
Mm-hmm.
You can treat it like, just say, like if you're a tither or you give offerings to the church, you give God what is God's, which is just 10%.
Right.
Now, just say if you gave God 10% of your income that comes in every week, however you get your paycheck, what if you took another 10% and put it into a savings account, or even 5% and put it in a savings account? And then that's money that you're putting aside every month that goes to savings. Or the more convenient way, because you don't see it, is if you're working and your company has a 401k program, that you put your money into your 401k and allow that to build for your savings as well.
Yeah.
There's multiple ways for you to build your savings, and to build a secure future for later on in life. Because I know for us, I went into a panic. Hey squad, how you doing? I went through a panic a couple of months ago, probably about 6 months ago. I got to thinking about it, and because I had this grand plan that our finances was gonna be in order, and life was gonna be where we wanted it. I could be able to retire by the time I turned 50, and I mean I was like, and
how then working out for you?
It didn't work out that way. So, and I'm talking about retirement from secular work,
right?
And to be able to step away from it and be done with it, but it hasn't worked out that way. And when I looked at it, I said, "Good God, I'm nowhere where I needed to be financially." So, over the past couple of years, with the company that I'm working for now, we have the opportunity to change our 401k plan once or twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
And I chose to be aggressive about how much I put into my 401k.
Mm-hmm.
And you said because you look at short term, but I'm looking at long term. And see, that's why a lot of people get caught up, because you look at what comes out of the house short term, and then when long term times come around, you have nothing. You don't have a pot to piss in when it's time for you to retire.
I don't want to pee in a pot. I want to pee in the toilet. But
you get what I'm saying.
Exactly. But at the same time, we're in our situation, because you the full-time breadwinner, and I have my own business, but I basically work part-time. I usually take maybe 1 or 2 clients a day. And when COVID came in, there was me not making no more money because of my health. I had to stop taking clients altogether. So with you having the maximum amount coming out, and I mean, this wasn't the decision that we made together. This was a decision that you made, because I would have said don't do the max. Yeah, I wouldn't have said do the minimum, but I wouldn't have said do the max, because that's a lot when you start looking at the amount that's coming out of your check per week.
And the way I rationalized it was, we're gonna have to adjust, because we're not. We're in our 50s. We're moving towards 60 now. We're in our 50s.
No, wait. I just turned 52. We're not moving towards 60 yet. Now
I'm just saying, once you cross over to 50, you're moving towards 60. So
I'm moving towards 55.
And you want to have something that you can have when you get ready to shut it down.
You want to have something.
If you don't plan for it, you will not have nothing.
Absolutely.
Your house probably won't be paid off. No. If your car is running, it might not be running by then. You won't have a vehicle to drive. You'll have a house you can't fix up or do repairs to. You won't have money to buy food. You won't have anything.
The thing is that when it comes to decisions about your money, you have to have someone who's always level-headed. And you have to have someone who plans for the future. And you have to have, and one of those people also have to be the money conscious about every little thing that you do. And in our relationship, I feel like I'm the more level-headed.
Carolina, you look at everything that's at the here and now. You don't project out and think about the future.
No, I like putting money in the savings account.
No, I didn't say it's savings. I'm talking about preparing for the future.
I'm not going to say that, because where I am, I can't have a 401k. But when I was working full time, I did. Nope, I didn't have a 401k.
But see, that's what I'm saying. You get. It's good that somebody in the relationship can think short term, but you have got to have somebody that's going to think long term as well.
Yeah, you always have to have someone that is going to be always planning. And the good thing about us too is that we're both planners, but we plan for different things in different ways. Yeah. But we are both planners, and we do look at the aspects of it. You are, like you said, long term planning. Like with when we go on camping trips, you get excited, and the day once you make your reservations, you start planning what we gonna eat. That could be a whole month out, and you be like, well, we got to get this for the camp, and you start planning that. But in the same manner, you also have to plan for those moments, like when COVID hit and people had ran out to the store and tried to buy everything in the store, toilet paper, everything, instead of planning in advance and having those minimal supplies that you need so that other people can go out and get some of the things they need. Everybody, every time there is any kind of crisis, they run, they rush, they try to fix it then. But if you are planning for your future, and because you never know what tomorrow brings, so if you take the time to put something in a nest egg for your future, even if you did the $1 a day, the $1 a month thing, it's $1 a week, and you just increase the $1 every week. So there's 52 weeks in a year, and you will start out at the beginning of the year and put $1 that first week in the bank. Then the next week you'll put $2 in the bank, and then the next week you'll put $4, and each time you are adding on to that and doubling it up. But what you end up doing at the end of the year, either you're going to save that money so that you can have a fantastic Christmas and go Christmas shopping, or you can let that money roll over and then just let it add up. Just do this, start over every year and do the same thing every year, and you can build a nice nest egg doing that. You will save thousands of dollars just doing that. And then if you have it in a money market account or in an account that can draw a good amount of interest, then just imagine about how much money you would end up saving doing that.
Yeah.
So you always have to think about what tomorrow brings. And like with some people, and with me, I always have to be able to look at least one of my accounts and see a substantial amount of money in that account. Mm-hmm. If I don't, I start feeling like, oh my goodness, what's going to happen? So
I hear you.
You don't have anything to add? I hear you.
No, but to get back to like I was saying, I mean, the stress of it all, thinking about, because a lot of people, they'll let the money aspect of their relationship drive, which it's like the wind that's in the sails that drives a relationship. When they have money in the bank, they're happy. When they don't have any money in the bank, then they're miserable. They're miserable. Now, I can remember when we first got married, and we were staying right outside of Fort Bragg, and
559 Settle Drive.
That very first trailer that we had.
I still remember the address.
The carpet looked mangy. The windows didn't roll up right. I mean, it was a dump. It was a dump. And we didn't have any money. And those were some of the best times that we created, not when we didn't have any money.
People don't create moments like that no more, though.
No, they don't.
Because, I mean, we even got to the point where, what game night? We gonna play some spades or gin rum. Don't nobody want to. And as you mature, you grow past that. But as our kids, we were bringing up our kids, we used to do the same thing. We was like, okay, we have to stay on a budget. And that word right there seems to be a dirty word to a lot of people, is putting yourself on a budget. My system of budgeting back then, when we was younger in the military, was an envelope system. You took the money that you needed and you put it in certain envelopes, and you spent what you needed to, only what was in that envelope for that certain item. Once that money was gone, you ain't had no more money. So it wasn't no going out to eat. We didn't go out to eat. We cooked.
Yeah.
And we ate a lot of bologna sandwiches. and beanie weenies. But the thing is that when it seems like the more you get, the it's not sadder you get, but it's like you always want so much more till you can't ever get satisfied.
Right.
And so it's always that game of, I want more, I want this. I have a 55-inch TV, but now so-and-so got a 65-inch TV, so I need a 75-inch TV. Or
really?
I have this camper, but now I just went and I was looking at the RVs online, and I was just like, I need me a bigger camper. I mean, it's always something out there that's going to make you want to spend money that you don't need. You don't have to spend. We have to learn how to save and put aside for those rainy days. And I know, like, with a lot of people, I saw somewhere where they posted, how much of your stimulus check do you still have?
None. I spent on the bills.
Some people said they still have all of it.
Good.
Why you ain't got no money, bro?
Even though I spend it, we spend it on the bills.
We ain't spending that.
What?
I'm just playing.
even though we spent it on the bills, we still have money in the bank. So I don't sweat it.
But
when I say we spent on the bills, it just went into the household.
Right, it went into the household. It went to get things and fix things, and and things like that happen. But what kind of investments are you doing for the future? And think about where you putting your money.
Right.
And what a lot of people don't realize is that most of the time, if you sit down and you look at your bank account, and you look at your bank statement, look at how many times you go out to eat.
I know.
And I ain't finna try to tell nobody what to do with their money, because I know this week I've been killing some restaurants. Right. Because I need to go to the grocery store. But when you start looking at things like that, and me, I had got away from doing the Dollar Tree thing for a long time. But I looked at the bank account the other day. You know how many times we've been to the Dollar Tree in the past 7 days?
Probably about 5.
And you don't go to the Dollar Tree and spend $1.
Lately, when we've been going to the Dollar Tree, we actually been spending in the upwards of $45, $50, $60 at the Dollar Tree.
Every single time. Money being spent is money being spent, no matter how you want to rationalize the way that you're spending it. If you don't have anything to show for it, you might want to rethink, other than a full belly, how you spending all your money. Yeah, but you
won't have to show for it once you go to the bathroom.
What?
A full belly bathroom. Poop.
Really? But the thing is that you want to have things you want to have something that you can show for the money that is being spent. So, and a big screen TV is a good thing to have, but if you don't need
if you don't need one right then, if you can't afford one.
If you not even if you can't afford, you might be able to afford it, but do you need it?
Yeah.
Men. That's a man thing.
Listen, if I could not afford a big screen, a big TV, I wouldn't buy one. But if I could afford, which I could afford one, I can't afford one. If you
already have one, what's the point?
To get a bigger one?
What's the point?
A bigger and better viewing experience.
So, however when you enter into a relationship, this is where your communication part comes in. You and your spouse, or the person that you're in a relationship with, needs to decide how your money is going to be managed.
Yeah.
Will you be going into the relationship and keeping his money and her money, and then a joint money, and then you also will be thinking about if you're going to have a joint savings account and all that. So you want to, in some relationships, you'll have a his or her, a joint. And in some relationships, you'll just have
a big pot.
Now, in our relationship, I did say we have a big pot, but he does have his own accounts. I have my own account because he has a business, or he had a business, whatever. I have a business, and all of the accounts are separated like that. But the main money always goes into the main account.
Right.
And that's just how that has to work for us.
Right.
And I am that person who knows how much everything costs. And I check my account a couple of times a day. If you go to the gas station and get you a soda and a pack of chips, I'm going to be asking you, why did you do that? Well, you could have just went to Sam's and bought a big bag, and then you could have had your stuff for the whole... But the thing is that someone is always going to be more money conscious than what it should.
Should be.
I think it should. It's not necessary.
No, somebody needs to be more money conscious in the relationship if both aren't. Because like I said, people will go crazy with spending.
Yeah.
They're like, my check hit the bank, I'm going to buy this, and this, and this, and then this, and this, and this, and that got to be paid.
Right.
Whatever bills come up. And next thing you know, you don't have enough to pay your bills.
Right.
But you done had fun. But you brought up a good point about eating out. Because so many people, even in this day and time now, where, you can't, the grocery stores, the price is going up on everything, and people are getting lazier and not cooking for themselves, but they're just buying their breakfast, lunch, and dinner while they're eating out. If you add up how much you're spending on what you're getting when you go eat out, and lately we've been eating out a lot, and I'm a little burnt out with eating out.
We ain't ate out that much.
We have been.
It's just been for the last what?
No,
two days.
No, it's been more than that. If you look before we went camping, before we went to Savannah,
I don't know.
Look before then.
I can't remember back that
if
far.
you look at the Burger Kings, the Wendy's.
That's one. Number one, I don't eat Wendy's.
I'm just saying it's been a lot. It's been quite a bit. It's been a bunch. Yeah, it has.
I don't have a problem with eating out if we have coupons though.
Coupon, schmoopon. If you count every time that you eat out, if you eat out a lot and you count that and you add that up, it's going to add up to a significant amount of money. It's going to add up to a significant amount of money.
So it was funny to me when I look at people who like to go to Starbucks and they do a daily Starbucks round or a daily Dunkin' Donuts round or something like that, and they don't have a problem. Or what's the other one? The Smoothie King. They'll go and this is daily, sometimes twice a day. Mm-hmm. You have your coffee from Starbucks and maybe one of them little biscuit scones things, whatever they have. But because I was having business meetings at Starbucks and my scone thing and my cup of coffee, I don't know what it was, some kind of biscuit, some scone thing. The scone thing, but I don't know what it was. It was some kind of biscuit bagel or something. Anyway, a small cup of coffee and this little biscuit bagel scone thing was costing like $7.80. And I was like, okay, so it was like 3 times in that week that I did that. At the end of the week, I was like, oh, we can't be having no meetings at Starbucks because this is too much money to be wasting. I can make me a cup of coffee and fix me a bagel at home for $1 and something.
And deny yourself your scone thing.
And deny myself that scone thing because but people they get into these habits of buying the $7 smoothies every day, and then you add that up. That's $35 at the end of the week just on smoothies.
Right.
You could have made you a bunch of smoothies and still had some stuff left over for the next week. But I mean, it's just when you start thinking about it, and people don't, they just waste a lot of money, a lot of unnecessary money. So whenever you're making your budgets and you're sitting down and you're making a budget, you should always make sure that you allow yourself to have some eat out money. But if you're eating out 7 days a week, if you can afford it, hey.
I want to say different stages of life, your mindset may change. Yeah. When you're younger, when you're in your 20s or maybe even your 30s, you're not so focused on I'm gonna cook, and I'm not I might cook sometime, but I'm not gonna cook all the time. It's convenient for me to grab my food and come on home and eat it.
No, when we were in our 20s and 30s, I mean, our 20s,
no, we cook.
But the older we got,
but I'm just saying, but then something changes, just say between 35 and 40, and then you like eating out. I don't have to eat out as much now. I think I want to cook or eat something lighter, and then your mindset changes because your maturity level changes.
Eating healthier.
Eating healthier, or you start looking at your finances.
Looking at your health.
And when you're looking at, but we're talking about finances,
right?
So when you look at when you're looking at it, then you say, okay, all these years I've wasted a lot of money on this now. Okay, now I want to start trying to build this future.
Yeah.
And then once you start thinking about you're ready to build your future now, then you start looking at ways that you can cut back on certain areas or reallocate money that you were spending somewhere else. That's a good way to say it. You're reallocating money to put somewhere else.
Yeah.
And that's where, I think that we go through shifts. Because sometimes, like I said, we eat out a lot, and then we go through times where we cook a lot. And because, I in our household right now, I probably do 70% of the cooking right now.
Probably, yeah.
Probably about 70%. And sometimes when I get off work, I'm like, I don't feel like, even though I love to cook, but when I come home sometimes, I'm like, I don't really feel like cooking. I just want to throw some in my mouth and chill for the rest of the evening because I got to go to bed in a couple of hours.
Right.
And so, but as we get older, our mindset changes. And mine has.
Yeah.
And I'm constantly thinking about, I want our life later on, and young couples think about your futures. I want our life later on to be as good as it was or is while we're younger as well.
You want to be able to enjoy life
you
later.
Want to be able to enjoy your life later.
Put something to the side, then you're going to work forever. And the thing is that the later in your life that you wait to start putting stuff to the side, the longer you're going to have to work to make sure that you have something for those later years.
Yep.
So,
I want to. When I was in my truck today and I was praying, and then I had I just had this fear come over me that if I were to die right now,
you always do this.
No. If I were to die right now, how prepared would my household be financially? If I were to die right now, and it scared the bejesus out of me. And I was like, I gotta really get on the good foot to make sure that you, my wife, my family is taken care of if something were to happen to me right now. And I don't think young people think like that. Because, young people still think, I got time. But you really don't. Time goes by just like that. It goes by fast. 1 minute you're in your 20s, then you're in your 30s, then you're in your 40s, thinking about where did the 20s go, and the 30s went, and then you're stuck, and then you're like, oh my, now you're 50, and you still don't have anything put up for your future, and then you want to start trying to scramble to put things together now because you're thinking about what if something were to happen within my household, and we gotta be able to be sustainable. So, it's a lot of stuff that you really have to think about when it comes. That's why we say money matters.
Money matters.
It matters a whole lot in your marriage and your relationships.
And you just always have to think about tomorrow. It's not like I'm telling you to worry about tomorrow because tomorrow's going to take care of itself. But if you go into tomorrow without planning and preparing, then your plan is already planned for you. It's planned to fail.
Yeah.
You have to make plans. You have to think about things. You have to have something set aside for.
Make a plan for yourself just to be able to start moving your finances to where you can have a better secured future.
Yeah.
It really don't take a lot.
It don't.
Like I said, the decision that I made to put the max into my 401k and my IRA, that was my thought process about it was gonna come out before I get my check anyway. So I'm not gonna miss. I won't miss what I don't see.
I did miss it.
She said she did miss it, but eventually you will adjust.
You do.
And that's how we're doing it, and even though through COVID right now it's not performing well, eventually thing is gonna start performing well again, and where it was taking off like a skyrocket, it's gonna do it again, and I'm gonna be very pleased with it later on in life, but just know if your finances are jacked up in your relationships, it's gonna roll over into every other aspect of your relationship or your marriage.
So what you need to do is just sit down and you get together and you talk about it and you come up with a plan. Come up with a budget and try. Don't just try to cut everything off that you're doing. Start small. Start with something small and try to work your way up until you can get in a groove of how things is flowing. And if you don't do nothing else and you have bills that has to be paid, pick one bill and put maximum payment on that until you get it paid off so that you can start getting rid of your debt if you can.
Right.
And then, just stay small. Keep thinking about it and just doing it in small little chunks and getting those things out of the way so that you can start putting money up and start saving money. Yeah. I love it when I see a young person be like, oh yeah, I got a savings account. I got a chunk of change. I absolutely love that because there's so many people that don't have a chunk of change, makes a lot of money and still don't have no money saved. So
right, and like my wife said, get out of debt. Try to eliminate as much debt as you possibly can. You know, we're constantly looking at our debt, you know, a couple of times a month, trying to see if we get a nice big old check in here or there. What can we pay? And that's the first, our first response is, what can we pay off? You know, if we got enough to pay something off, let's pay it off. But you have to go into the attack mindset to get rid of your debt, so that you can create more wealth for yourself.
Yes.
Instead of watching it fly out of the window. You know, if it weren't for her in the beginning of our marriage, man, you know, we would probably been we would have been in a pretty much bad predicament, because, like I said, I was horrible with money back then. And, you know, I was one, like, I want to get what I want to get when I want to get it, then deal with the fallout later. And that is not a good formula. That is a formula for disaster. And it would destroy your household, because you'll find out quick that stuff will get turned off if you live like that.
So if you just start putting money if you decide that you want something, just put a little bit to the side each week until you saved up enough money to go get it. You don't have to just go run out to the store and get it. In a couple of weeks, it might be on sale. So
I know that's
you
right.
Run out to the store and just go get everything at the spur of the moment. Like I will look at stuff, and I be like, I want it, I know I need it, but I'm always thinking, oh, it costs too much, or do I really need that? I got this. Do I really need that? And I know when it came for time for me to get my new exercise bike, I was like, well, I just put a blanket on the other seat and just make it work so it won't hurt my tail, and then hurting my legs and stuff. Had a step stool beside my bike so that I can get on it when I needed a sit down bike, until he just said, you need this bike for your health, so you're gonna get it. So it was just like,
right.
Sometimes, you know, you have to bite the bullet and do what you got to do. But
right.
It's better if you can plan for things and save for things, and then have the money already set to the side so that you can go get it when you need it.
Yep. Well, guys, I really enjoyed this conversation tonight. We got to get ready to get off here, because we've been on longer than 30 minutes. Last week we was on for almost an hour, and it's 7:38 now. So, guys, we appreciate you. You guys feel free to still comment. Let us know how you guys handle your finances within your households. What has worked and what has not worked, and then if something that has really stuck out to you with your finances is something that really has worked for you guys, let us know. And because it might be something that we might be able to put in, implement in ours.
And then maybe be able to pass it on to someone else who could use the advice
exactly
on different ways that they can help manage their money and save their money and grow their finances.
Yep. Cool beans. Well, my name is Andrew.
And I am Rhonda.
And we're 32 Forever. And we will see you guys next week. We'll be at a special location next week, so we'll see y'all then, okay? Be good. Bye.
Be blessed.